guys, it's Felipe.
Hey, this is Buddha.
And today our guest is Lucy Caba. So Lucy's coming in today because we wanted to get a woman's perspective, a woman's view, and a lot of just different things that are going on. I'm pretty sure you've got enough of me and Buddha's opinions.
Yeah.
Lucy, I've known her since 2009. Yeah.
About 10 years.
Yeah, going on that. And I guess one of the few things that me and Lucy have in common is we're prior military, and we're both in the fitness industry. So we've gotten along ever since day one. But I guess what I'd like to know, or maybe you would like to know, is your military experience. How was that? What were you in? What did you do exactly?
Well, I was in the Army way back, and I was a helicopter mechanic. I initially signed up for a 6-year contract, and I was stationed in Germany. Straight out of Brooklyn, couldn't wait to get out of there. And I signed up, went to Fort Jackson for basic training, Virginia for AIT, where I learned how to fix the Black Hawk, and then I was stationed in Germany for a little while. My contract was terminated a little bit early. We won't talk about that. And then after I got out, I just started doing different things. I went back to school and became a motorcycle mechanic. I was already doing personal training part-time, and I've been a personal trainer and nutritionist now independently for about 7 or 8 years. Yeah.
Your experience in the Army, would you say that helped you a lot? Would you give positive, negative?
You know, for about 20 years, I kind of just put it on the back burner like it was just a job I got fired from. Mm-hmm. I did take away from my training, you know, that I was a very strong person and that I could accomplish anything. My drill sergeants really did a great job at building my self-esteem and helping me believe in myself. I think that got me through my 20s and raising my daughter basically by myself. But a few years back, I reconnected with the veteran community, and I saw that a lot of veterans did not have the same mental strength that I had. I think for me, the difference could have been that I didn't go to war and they did. And I also had my family waiting for me when I got back. I had their full and total support. They had my back. I could always go to them for anything and talk to them about anything. So I didn't feel that isolation that I think a lot of veterans feel nowadays.
I know when I went to the military, I guess I could kind of say the same thing. But I guess in my mindset, in the infantry, I always kind of looked at it like that's kind of a guy's world. I don't know much about like the helicopter side or what y'all guys dealt with. Would you say it's predominantly men, or?
It was mostly men. I was one of 2 females in my company. So it is still mostly men. It's an aviation unit, usually a lot of pilots, and you know the Black Hawk carries cargo and soldiers. So you could get a mix of just about anybody. I didn't have any, as a female soldier, I didn't have any negative experiences with other male soldiers as in any disrespectful way. I can see though, and coming back and talking to a lot of the female veterans that I know now, they did go through a lot of things that I could not imagine going through myself. And it was at the hands of the brothers that they were supposed to work with and live with and, have their back, and it didn't.
Yeah, I know when I first got in the military, it was hard for me to adapt to like civilized life, even though I grew up in it. But it was like I had never worked with a woman before coming out of the military, so I was like literally scared of what to say, how to act. I was very almost everybody's like, dude, like you can get away with saying, like, no, I'm not even gonna touch that area.
I think for coming back as a civilian, I think it's tough for everyone because I really do believe the military has a certain way of doing and speaking. The communication between soldiers is very different than how you would speak to, to a civilian, male or female. I've gotten, told, that I was too blunt in the past by men, that I was intimidating because of the way I spoke, or, because I threw a lot of F-bombs here and there. I kind of cleaned up my act a little bit, but I wasn't afraid to speak in a certain way, and I think it might have been kind of the opposite. Maybe I spoke too much and probably have more of a foot and mouth situation than anything else. But I think with the military, we are trained a certain way, and civilians are like aliens to us, even though we were prior to.
Right. So your ethnicity is what?
I am Dominican. I was born in Dominican Republic, and I came to the U.S. when I was 7 years old, and I was raised in Brooklyn, New York. When I got out, I went back to Brooklyn for a few months, and then at the time I was married, I moved to California for about a year and a half, and then went back to New York.
That's a huge difference, East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
So New York living versus Texas living, that's...
It was shocking at first. First of all, I never had any intention of moving to Texas in my entire life. But when I moved here 13 years ago, I wanted a better life for my daughter. My daughter was 10 at the time, and we had gone through some family tragedy, and I just decided, I gotta go. So we moved here. It was a culture shock.
I bet. Yeah.
I was personal training and working at a dealership in New York where, I have all these, kind of thuggish kind of guys coming in, and we work on their bikes and throw them out there. Then I come to Texas, and I am totally into this New York verbiage where my mouth, every other word was F this. And then I got a job here at Gold's in Plano. And I started training, and I was more like Jillian Michaels, where I used to scream at people and insult them and all this. And I found myself, I had a client one day, and she's like, Lucy, did I do something to you? And her voice, she's like, why are you screaming at me? So I just really noticed I had to tone it down a little bit for them. And that's when, like that militant kind of military way of training, I had to tone that down.
Right.
I had to be nicer. And that kind of affected my business, I think, a little bit because it didn't feel genuine to me. I was able to have, I did have clients, and I worked with a lot of people. I pretty much get along with just about everyone. But I felt like something was off because I had to be a certain way to make my business work. But it wasn't allowing me to be myself.
Yeah, when you...
That's crazy.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's hard to put on like a mask, a different person. That's why I have trouble in corporate America myself. Because I'm sitting there working, and it's like, dude, I'm smarter than you. And then like the boss will try to talk to you a certain way. It's like, excuse me? Hold on.
Yeah. I guess when I grew up in high school, I guess I've always had that extrovert type personality. But I did that drama class. I've always admired like wrestlers in WWE and how they talk. And later I watched an interview. It's all an act. And when I got in a drama club, I started acting. And even the teacher would say, "Man, you are really good at this acting." And I was like, "Oh yeah, whatever." I just always had fun with it. But when I joined the military, it's almost like I took the acting with me. It was like, even though I didn't grow up hard, I brought that acting to me into the military, where I acted hard, and then eventually people were like, "All right, you're all show, but are you all go?" And then eventually I had to learn to go. So everywhere I've gone, even if I go to corporate America or whatever, I know how to act the part, and then later I'm just like, kind of feel like, man, I just felt horrible. Like I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm drinking my coffee. You need that caffeine fix. So now you are all fitness, and you started your own business of training people.
I do training, and I'm a nutritionist. So years ago, I realized that it doesn't matter how hard you work out. You have to be able to tell people how to feed the body to get the best out of the workouts. I knew the basics. I knew, like whatever the media was trying to push at the time, which was mostly low carb or low fat. So I wanted to expand on what I was hearing. So I went and got certified as a nutritionist, and I got into bodybuilding and learned a lot more from actual my own training and my own coach, because I hired a coach at the time. I learned more from that than what I was reading in a lot of books.
Right.
And it really proved to me that this has to be treated as individual. Not one diet works for one. It's everyone's different. We all have different biology. What works for you may not work for me. It might work for him or not. So really it's about finding the right fit for the right person. So when I really get pissed off when I hear people say, well, that doesn't work. It may not have worked for you. Maybe you needed to get blood work done or go more in depth into what is going on with you before you start shooting things down. So I really had to expand my mind and my vision for what I wanted to do for other people and for myself, because it's not a one size fits all. And I really kind of just, for not throwing F words and things,
Right.
It just pisses me off that there's so much garbage out there being thrown as fact, because it's all someone's opinion. How somebody felt that day, they decided that, oh no, the keto diet's bad for you. Who are you to say that? And what's your background? What's your knowledge? And who are you telling this to? So you got to be real mindful of what you're telling people, and what gives you the, who are you to say, yeah, this is what you should do? Well, did you ask all the questions necessary to find out? I think a lot of it is searching for data and info, not just throwing somebody in a box and be like, here, you do this one, because we're too lazy to do the work that it takes to figure out, what diet is right for you, what workout is right for you, and every single person, not just, well, I got this one right, well, let me just give it to everybody.
Right. Hold on a second. I'm going to go beat this dog up real quick.
Yeah, that hurt? That hurt? What the hell? Yeah, that don't feel so good, does it? No, huh?
All right, sorry I had to beat that dog up.
He didn't beat him up.
Gave that dog a pounding.
But yeah, that's too what you're saying is like even coaching strategies with different people. Like I'm the type where if I'm working out and I'm not hitting my reps and you're like, quit being a put, you know what I'm saying? You can get, that'll push me more than you're just not like, come on, dude, you got to do. Like you call me out on my slacking, but other people, even coaching like softball, some girls tell me, I want you to yell at me. I was like, are you sure that's what you want? I was like, because I'm used to be way meaner than I am now. But other people too, when you yell at them, they'll go in their shell.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like same thing with the dieting. I know for certain things, people like it don't work for me. It don't work.
We were talking a little about it before we started, and I'm a type A. Like, you gotta tell, I have to know exactly what I'm gonna eat, the amount, and what time. And if I don't have it ready, I'm gonna make the worst decision and eat the worst thing that I can find.
Yeah.
But if I have it and I know what I'm supposed to do, then I just do it. Because it's easy for me to have my meals prepped. I'll prep on Sunday. I have my meals ready for 3 days. I know that after 3 days, I'm not going to want to eat it. So I know myself that way. And I know that that's what I'm gonna eat at that time. And you just have to find really what works for you.
Yeah.
And we're here most of the time. We're here to just find out what works for you too.
Yeah, because the keto diet, I know a bunch of people have heard bad things about it, but I know a lot of mostly females that play softball. They're the ones who post more of their diet, their meal prepping. They love it. And I've seen them lose a lot of weight doing it. They seem healthy to me, so I don't see what, you know what I'm saying, what the knock is on it, but I'm pretty sure you do anything to an extreme or like you're a diabetic, you know what I'm saying, there's something with you that you don't.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you can't do that. Kill yourself. What are you doing, crazy?
Well, yeah, we were talking about, you know, Felipe himself and his condition and his diet and what he figured out on his own. You know, I've done a few, you know, I've been studying a little bit more on the keto diet, and I didn't know, you know, what he just told me, right?
Yeah.
After your treatment.
Yeah, some of the things that going on the keto diet whenever I was first diagnosed with kidney failure helped me go through a lot of what I went through. The dietitianist had first told me to go on a renal diet, and when I first started, I was very anemic, I was very cold, I was very weak, I couldn't do anything, I was depressed. And then probably like 2 months into it, my workout partner had told me, like, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you even listening to these people? You know more about nutrition than most of these people.
Okay, but I don't want to be too rude and cut you off, but explain to us, like, why you, knowing that you know so much about nutrition and exercise, what made you feel like you had to listen to this other person telling you what to do with your body and your health? Like, what made you feel like you had to listen to them?
So, me being new to kidney failure, I'm assuming that these people are experts in that area because I've never dealt with this before. So they're telling me, hey, this is what's wrong with you if you don't listen to us, and you're basically going to die. So I was like, all right. So I got scared and said, this is what I have to do. This is my new life. This is my new diet. This is what I have to deal with. So I started eating and consuming everything they said. But I also wanted to sort of live that old lifestyle that I used to, which was working out. That was my therapy to everything. That made me feel good. And for me to give that up wasn't like an option for me, you know? So I did what they said, and it didn't make me feel good. It made me feel worse. And then eventually when I snapped out of it, I said, you know what? Let me just try something. So I started following somewhat of a keto diet, somewhat of intermittent fasting. I figured since I have so many toxins in my body, if I could lessen the toxins by lessening the food that goes in my body, then maybe that'll help. Within a month, maybe 6 weeks, when they redid my blood work, everything started coming out good. I was no longer anemic. My strength started coming back. I started wanting to go out. My depression was gone. So to me, that helped me dealing with what I was dealing with. I'm not going to say that it works for everybody, but maybe because of the exercise, maybe because of my metabolism changing, certain things that were working and weren't working in my body, certain things kind of started balancing. So when people ask me about the keto diet, that's what I recommend for people like me. I'm not going to say it works for everybody, but I would have never known unless I tried. Mm-hmm. So when people ask me about dieting, there's so many things that you can do, but I would say, let's try this. What if we were to take away sugar? Try it for a week. Try it for maybe 2 weeks. Let's see what changes. I mean, I know that a lot of times we want to relapse. It's almost like you take somebody away, you take the drugs away. They're gonna go through some sour moods, but you know what? It may help them longevity as far as everything goes. I know when it comes to performance, I mean, you have individuals that take performance enhancement drugs, okay? But at the end of the day, there's certain foods that may help you in your performance. We don't call those performance enhancement drugs, you know, because it's just the food. Could a carrot help me? Maybe with my eyesight? Is it going to help with my energy? Probably not. But maybe cauliflower or broccoli, longevity may help me because of the nutrients that it may give me, may help me with my sleep. But we won't know unless we try. So I always tell people, just try it, see how you feel. And if you don't feel good, then we'll eliminate it. Now we know. You know what? Beet juice didn't make me feel the way I wanted to feel. That pickle juice that you drink every morning, Felipe? I'm not doing it. But we won't know.
Will work wonders. I remember we're playing at BLD. It's in the summer. BLD's Big League Dreams, Mansfield. The turf has turf infields. It's 101 degrees that day. So it's like, they say it's at least 10 degrees hotter on the turf. So I'm playing men's, playing co-ed, and coaching women's. So we're getting like men's is still going co-ed, and women's done lost out. We done lost the men's game. We're back to back. This is our third game in a row. I remember I'm in mid swing. As soon as I did like this, I caught a cramp from right under my armpit all the way down through the hamstring to the calf. I'm over there. I hit it to the outfield. I can't run the first, get thrown out. The coach is mad. Why didn't you hustle? I'm like, I couldn't run.
Right.
They brought that pickle juice though, because we were chugging water. It was just going through us. His grandson came with a tray full of pickle juice, and like instantly, like you seen everybody's like just revived.
Yeah.
We ended up winning that game, played another, and then lost. So it was the Texas heat. I'm ready for that. I'm tired of this rain and cold.
And sometimes it's those simple little nutrients that your vegetables may have that makes a huge difference on just how your body just reacts and performs.
And if you're absorbing them or not.
Right.
There's a lot of, certain foods that we don't absorb the nutrients because we don't have the digestive enzymes in our own bodies. We're not making the right enzymes, or certain foods don't have the nutrients that they used to because our soil is depleted. So really have to, look at what you're fueling yourself with. I know that, you mentioned, will this food enhance my performance, but this also where you can take a look at it and how food affects us in a negative way. Like you said, it's like taking the drug away. Well, is food like drugs?
I mean, they make drugs from something, right? They have to make it from a plant. They have to make it from some sort of chemicals being combined. A lot of times, basically that's what food is. It's just something that goes in our body, goes down our throat, and once it goes into our digestive system, everything's being separated, and those molecules go a certain way. It's like a scientist in his lab who's making all these little,
So for those that are having trouble losing weight, you really have to take a look at what you're fueling your body with, and are you doing it because you're addicted to it? Consider being addicted to the food, or is it because you're bored, or are you actually hungry and your body requires more fuel? Are you working to earn that fuel? Do you train, CrossFit 2, 3 times, 4 times a week, or every day, and you're fueling yourself properly or not? I don't eat the same way when I'm in competition prep than I do when I'm not, because I know that I'm training way harder when I'm about to compete than when I'm just, maintaining throughout the year.
And a lot of this stuff, I would have never learned any of this stuff through any certification, through any book. A lot of it was just
Life.
Yeah, just trial and error. You watch your surroundings and you see how people adjust.
I learned the most when my coach got cancer. I felt like, oh shit, I'm about to lose my prep coach. He's the best coach I've ever had. And what if he doesn't make it? So I started doing way more research, and at the same time found out my dad had cancer. So you don't have to wait to have something like that traumatic to figure this out for yourself. We have to take responsibility for our own health, because nobody else is going to do it, especially when you go to the hospital and you expect that the people that are giving you the advice and the nutrition plan, you expect them to be experts in this, and yet you had better results when you took over yourself.
Right. Because you only care more about yourself than anybody else. If you don't love yourself, then why should anybody else?
Fact.
The now, kind of off subject here a little bit. Drink of choice. Your alcoholic drink of choice.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
So when I turned 33, I stopped drinking because my drink of choice was what was that? Damn it, I don't even remember.
It's been that long?
Well, I'm 42. It's like right at the. It was this disgusting drink. It was Red Bull and
Vodka.
Jaeger bomb?
Jaegers. Oh
The
my
Jaeger bomb.
God.
I love those.
So needless to say, I was raising a child, and I was on the back end of the drinking. So the next morning, my child couldn't find me, and when she did, I was sleeping in the bathtub. So I decided that time that it was time to cut the drinking off. I didn't want to set that example for my daughter. So that was when I stopped. I might drink now, maybe a mule.
Mm-hmm.
I like ginger. It helps my stomach.
Right?
That's probably it.
The old Russian mule.
Yeah.
What about you, Buddha?
Man, I cannot give that combination away. They're always trying to get me to drink at the fields. Like I said, I may drink here or there, may go 3 months without touching anything. I may go 2 weekends in a row. Especially when it's cold right now, like a lot of guys will bring whiskey out. Mm-hmm. Especially playing like in this weather, it helps. You put that on there, and like I said, it'll put some hair on your peaches and have you out there feeling warm from the inside out.
Right.
But yeah, I cannot give that combination away because as soon as I tell them what it takes to get me
They're
loud,
gonna use it against you.
Hey Buddha, come here. I'm like, hey, what's up with your hoe? You get me going on that combination. I don't have breaks when I start, so you gotta catch me, and they'll keep pumping it full.
Yeah, I think lately I've been more of a Tito's and tonic kind of guy with lime.
I don't like vodka. That's this one I don't like it.
It's an acquired taste.
That was my drink of choice in the Army.
Oh, really?
Definitely drank a lot of vodka.
I don't get the hangovers from that. Yeah. Even this wedding that I just recently went to, I normally drink Tito's and vodka, and I feel great. I wake up in the morning, still work out. I'm able to keep my composure. But I had some margaritas just because it was margarita whatever at Chili's.
Tequila.
And that sugar just, oh man, it killed me.
Those are what gives me the hangovers.
My daughter's allergic to agave.
Really?
So, and she found out like that.
The hard way.
She drank something with tequila in it. She's 22 now. And she just got really sick. And then she, the next time she drank tequila again, she just immediately fell sick. I think she tried something with the actual agave syrup, and she got a reaction, so she's allergic to it. So maybe your hangovers because you're allergic to your alcohol.
Possibly. You know, what's funny is I used to work at this gym in Uptown years ago, and we had a doctor in there, and I thought he was full of crap when he first came by. But he started explaining to me how some allergies work, and he talks about there's different levels. And what he was saying is like a level 10 would be like when you try something and you get that, you break out and swell up, and it could almost kill you, then that would be like a level 10 seriousness. And then he talked about that maybe sometimes people have like a level 2. And what that means is they could be allergic to bread and not even know it. And that low of a level, if you ate something, your reaction may not be 3 or 4 days down the road. And a lot of times you may eat that bread and be allergic to it, and then 3 or 4 days down the road, you eat something else and you blame it on like that potted chili or that Mexican food. You're like, oh man,
That bread 3 days ago.
Yeah, it was from 3 or 4 days ago, but you're blaming it on because we automatically assume it's just that quick, oh God, freaking food poisoning from Taco Bell. But it really wasn't. It was that bread that you ate 3 or 4 days ago. which I thought was kind of weird, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, now that you know as much of how our bodies work internally, because you had to take such close look at how the kidneys work,
Right.
you can see, like, you know, you eat something, you don't expel it right away. It has to go through everything
The
inside.
process.
Everything has to go its separate ways, what's waste and what's going to be absorbed. So you have that, you have time before you actually feel some stuff. I also read into it, whereas, you know, we're not supposed to have heartburn. We're not supposed to have IBS. All these things are like allergic reactions that our body's telling us don't eat that, or don't, you know, don't smell that. Certain smells can trigger allergies as well. So I think we just have to be more mindful of everything around us, especially if you find yourself always getting sick, or, you know, feeling depressed and you can't seem to get off the couch to do things, and you weren't like that before. You know, you have to start looking at everything, your whole body chemistry.
Yeah. That's definitely, for sure. And one of the things that me and Lucy were talking about before we started recording was just even how our food is made nowadays through the plants.
You gotta show those eggs.
Oh,
You have to show the eggs.
I was telling her that my parents, they live out in the country, so they shop at like a farmer's market, and a lot of the meat they get is actually where they take like the deers and they cut them all up. I don't know what the process is called, but they get a lot of their deer meat from there. They get their chicken eggs from there, and I was showing her the difference between store-bought eggs versus, you know, the farmer's eggs, and it's just, I mean, it's
crazy, because my parents live in Dominican Republic, and, you know, throughout the year, you know, I always ask them, when are the mangoes going to be ready? Because everything that they have is just what grows seasonally. And the first bite of any fruit that you eat over there, it is insane how much better it tastes than anything you get here in our grocery stores. So, you know, is that it's the nature and the nurture of what we're doing to the ground. Our soil has no nutrients left, and, you know, you might be eating organic and all this, and you still may not be getting the nutrients that you need because it's not even in the dirt anymore. And then you wonder why you feel sick, or why you're having certain allergies and headaches and whatever. And it's not always going to be about you needing a medication. It just might be that you need to switch it up and see, you know, what you're actually ingesting.
Yeah. Even a lot of the foods, like when people ask me, hey, I heard like eating fried chicken's bad for you, or I heard eating, and my response is, it's not the fried chicken that's bad for you, it's what they're frying it in that's probably bad for you. Because if you go to like KFC or some of these large corporate chains, they're probably going to use the cheapest oil they can so they can profit from the business. So if they keep reusing that oil, and then you happen to be the 98th customer to get that batch of chicken, chances are you're probably going to not get the same nutritional value as if you're home cooking it.
Yeah.
You know, because when you go shopping, you're going to buy quality oil, you know, stuff that's going to be good for you, versus they don't care whether it's good for you. They're just trying to make a profit. So there's a huge difference between home cooked meals versus, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of the times it's like, you know, you're gonna look like the dollar menu if you only buy from the dollar menu.
That's
you're
true
gonna
right there.
Feel like the dollar menu also, and you know, a lot of people are scared to start eating healthy because of their budget. Well, when you eat healthier, you tend to eat less, so you're also not wasting a lot. So, you know, you gotta find your happy medium and start off slow. You start off slow and start, you know, make your budget for the healthier foods, and pick certain things that you know you're going to eat and finish, and not things that you're like, well, you know, I could eat this and then end up throwing away half of it. Make mindful decisions, because the food, you will eat less if it's quality, because it will satiate you. You will feel full. If you eat McDonald's, you eat McDonald's breakfast, you'll notice that instead of feeling energized after breakfast, you feel like going back to bed. It's not. It shouldn't be that way. So really be mindful, more aware of what the choices you make. You do it when you're buying a house or picking out a car or buying new wheels for your car. You tend to pay attention more to those things than what you're actually putting inside yourself, so you can enjoy driving that car and living in that house. I mean, you have to take the same steps when you're taking care of yourself.
Now, in our last episode, we had talked about sort of like catfishing, our experience on internet dating, or I told a story about a phone call date I had been to. My question to you, Lucy, is have you ever been catfished?
You know, I actually went on a coffee date a few years back, and the guy told me, well, I messaged you on Plenty of Fish, and you never replied. I was like, well, I'm not on Plenty of Fish.
Damn.
I've never been on it. And he's like, well, the picture that you have on here is the same picture you had there. I was like, but you're not listening to me. I have not signed up for Plenty of Fish. I'm not on there, and whoever is using my picture.
Damn.
So yeah, that was probably the only experience I had. I went on 2 dates with one guy, but I just wasn't ready for this. That whole it wasn't for me. I need to meet people in person and, see how...
The old school way.
I like the old school way.
See how they act.
Yeah, like, do you smell that? I don't know, like, all that. I like the old school.
So, with that being said, old school, you prefer the guy to come to you, or have you ever actually approached the guy?
Okay, so this comes back to, like, I don't want to offend any very independent women.
Right.
I've always been very independent and everything, but what I learned was that me being the aggressor did not work for me for the type of relationship I wanted in the long run. So I am old school. I would approach a guy and didn't have a problem to, ask him out or anything. But what I really wanted long term was the old school way where, okay, if it's gonna work, he has to show me that he wants to care for me and wants to take me out. So I had to kind of end up to where I had to forget my own way of thinking. And regardless if I'm independent or not, I have changed my mind on a women's approach to approaching men. I do not think women should approach men ever. I think that it is a man's... I don't want to misstep, but I'm going to say whatever. I think it's a man's place to court a woman. I think she needs to chill out and let him prove himself and what he wants. If a man does not pay attention to you, he does not want you.
Ladies,
okay?
Because I stress this. I always say the interest is in the effort. You're hearing this from Lucy.
And I messed up for many, many years because I was the aggressor and I thought, oh no, it's okay if a woman goes. No. And this does not take away from you being a career woman, having your own business, having your own money. It has nothing to do with that. At the end of the day, a woman's role in relationships is a caretaker. We take care of the husband, the house, the children, regardless if you work. I work. I have my own business. And a man's place is to provide. He has to work. He has to be able to take care and pay for things in the house. Because as a man, that's what makes him feel like a man, is to say, hey, I can take care of you and protect you, even if you could protect yourself. I was in the Army. I know how to fight. I have a gun. I know how to protect myself. I know all that. I had to put that all aside because at the end of the day, I wanted a partner that loved me, that wanted to take care of me, that wanted to protect me and to provide. And I know that he feels more of a man when he can do that. And I allow him to do that because now I feel like I'm more feminine, that I could be more softer, and I don't have to be this tough, girl. I'm still independent. I still work. I still do what I want to do. And my fiance provides for us. He takes care of us. And I give him his space to do that. A lot of girls, and I went through this myself for years. I made myself the aggressor, and I became the caretaker, and I was the one providing, and I was giving everything, and then I felt shorted, and I blamed him. Oh, you're not a man. You're not this. Well, I didn't let him be a man. I didn't allow him to do what he needed to do to feel that. And I think that's getting lost in all these fights where, women are independent. We could do anything any man can. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Just because I can protect myself doesn't mean I should. If we come to a place where I feel threatened, just because I can pull out my gun and kill the guy or girl, whatever, doesn't mean I should. Sometimes you just gotta step back and just view what you want your life to be. Social media, it's more like anti-social media.
Yeah, people are losing the old ways of how to talk,
how to interact.
I've actually gone to bars where I like to people watch, and I'll watch people. You could tell they must have met on some sort of app or whatever, and you'll watch them just like there's no conversation. They were better off just emojiing and texting and gifing or whatever it's called. But I like literally, wow.
I tried to work in a bar for like 3 days, and the girl that was training me, she's like, yeah, that's the Tinder section. That's where all the guys and girls from Tinder come and they'll have a drink and then leave. And literally it was like that. It was like a hookup. And, I hear a lot of people say, blaming the opposite sex and the relationship didn't work because he was to this or she was to that. Well, did it ever occur to you the way you met? What questions did you ask before you slept together?
Yeah, for sure.
It's a crazy world we live in.
Cause like me being Catholic, big Catholic, so you're not supposed to do the deed till you're married. That's what we've always said. But a lot of people, I understand that it doesn't happen these days. But a lot of people
got to test drive the car before you buy it.
But they let them test drive it without even getting their insurance paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you even have a driver's license and insurance? They're just letting them test drive. Damn, they wrecked. Just like, if that's all you're interested in a person, but you're wanting in a relationship, it's not going to work.
It's not meshing. Like people want what their parents or their grandparents had. Like my parents have been married, I think, 47, 48 years. You have to put in the work that they put in. My parents, people used to meet and they used to go to their parents and say, hey, can I date your daughter? That doesn't happen anymore. People will throw you a dick pic in your inbox and expect you to, that's some cool thing. Why would I want it when you're just throwing it out there like that? And it goes both ways. It's not just that guys do this. It goes both ways.
It's vice versa, yeah.
Yeah, you can't expect to have quality when everybody gets it.
Yep. That brings us to the question, like, we'll pop it up here. You got it right there, Felipe? Mm-hmm. So, there it is. And what my friend is meaning is, she talks about girls, which the meaning is a lot. She means a lot there. A lot, like girls posting a lot of selfies. You know what I'm saying? Like, girls out there acting like thoughts on social media and like the do's and don'ts in relationships. So I kind of said it too, like what you put out there is what you're gonna attract.
Well, it's like the power of attraction. If you believe that, you are what you think, you attract what you put out. And, until I changed my behavior, you can only change yourself. You can't change anyone else. And if you believe in the power of attraction, where you attract what you put out, and you're constantly attracting trash, then maybe you need to look at yourself and see how trashy you are. But, plain and simple. And if you are great, you'll attract great people. You may attract one or two here, but if you're in tune with yourself and what you want, and you respect yourself, you'll be able to weed those out. You'll be able to weed the trash out, because it'll be so blatant to you. You'll see how clear, and it's like, like the guy with the sports car, but his clothes are dirty because he can't afford to even do that. Like, because he's only paying for this expensive ass car to look a certain way. So it's with the selfies and things like that, we're not going to have anybody that we can vote for in the future, because all we got to do is look at their Instagram account.
That's for sure.
Our president's wife is probably going to have her ass all over Instagram, right now.
But now, like the selfies, I don't knock it, because sometimes you put on a cute outfit, you're feeling yourself. But like then there's an extent to where you're posting 3 or 4 a day.
There are different.
Yeah, boobs hanging out. Because guys, like you said, we can't really be too provocative in ourselves, other than the penis pictures and to the inbox. But you get what I'm saying? Like, so I see a lot of girls, they post in pictures where they're wearing short shorts or something tight, and you know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden your inbox is blowing up. You're getting all these likes, but what are these guys really talking about? For me, when I look at that, it drives me off. I don't want a girl that's out there advertising it for everyone, like you're saying. If it's out there for everyone, why would I want it?
Exclusivity. That's what makes companies successful. Lululemon is exclusive. They can charge as much as they charge because they'll make a certain outfit in so many colors and so many sizes, and when they're done and they sell out, they don't make it again. So you feel like you have to have it because no one else will. It's the same thing in a relationship. I think for the most part, with the exception of the Kardashians, people want somebody that hasn't been with everyone.
What's the fact there? Because like we were talking about it earlier, and we'll bring there the do's and don'ts in a relationship. So this, I'm going to get a woman's point of view on this, because like
I don't speak for all women,
yeah,
by the way.
Because sometimes, like you're saying, it's just a guy thing. But we're there at my house, and me and my friend, he got off work early. We're going to get ready to go BP, and I get a picture. It's on Snapchat. I look, and it's a girl posing in some yoga pants. She has a nice bun, and she's like booty games. So, and I show it to my friend. He's probably about maybe 5 feet away, if that. I show him the phone. It's like this, like, hey, bro, look. And he squints. He can't see what it is. And when he notices what it is, he just smirks. So then I asked him, I said, hey, bro, what would you do if your wife was sending pictures like that to another guy? And like, it went from the smirk to seeing, you know what I'm saying, the nice buns to, like, his whole demeanor just changed. Like, you should have, if I wish I could have filmed it just the way his face, his whole attitude. And he got quiet for a second. He was like, I would roll up the phone book.
Well, I think, you have to have a certain level of respect and communication between each other. If there's no communication, between the couple, what she's doing, it could become just like that. In that instant, it could become something that can become violent, abusive. He might just walk away and leave her, whatever. But the communication has to be there. You don't know what the understanding that girl and her man have, that he might feel okay with her doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, your friend would not be okay with his wife doing that. So everybody's going to have a different reaction, I think. For me, I know my fiance would probably throw me in a ditch somewhere. Yeah. But I know as myself, is one, that's not my character. And two, I don't think that's appropriate. So it's really about communication. I think there's a very huge lack of that nowadays between couples.
Yeah, cause
just like what you said, when people are meeting each other like on Tinder and stuff. They might as well just keep texting and not even have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah, because that is sitting there, like, Felipe, what would you do if your girlfriend sent that to a guy? Or your fiance, wife?
That's grounds for divorce.
Yeah,
Because
That's what you want to do? See you later.
Like, how would you feel if a girl was sending that to your fiance?
no. And luckily, like we've had conversations about this because he knows, we met in the gym. So we talked about all this. He vetted me big time. Like, it was that same thing. It's like, how many questions do you ask someone before you become an item? Just as much as I was looking to have a husband to be with, he was looking for a wife.
Yeah.
And that to him would not be wife material. And that's where I think that's where it has to come in. You have to communicate all these things before you get a situation like that. Because it can get very ugly.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I don't think my friend would actually put his hands on his wife, but just to kind of...
But the reaction
mix it.
itself,
Yeah,
and
he
that's
was not thrilled with
yeah, it's not, but it's something that has to be discussed way before it happens.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that she felt comfortable doing that, in my own opinion, as a female, means that they've never talked about it. That means that she's like, you know what, I'm gonna do whatever I want because I've always done this, and they never addressed it. Like, he may never have mentioned, hey, I don't really like you taking pictures like this.
Yeah.
I don't
Sending
really
them
want
the guy.
you. Yeah, like, I don't really want you.
Dude, you send it to your homegirls, your workout partner. Like,
Yeah, so it's really, I think, communication. Just what have you agreed on? What is disrespectful to you both? And that's a tough one though, because with social media being such an open thing nowadays,
yeah.
I think there's a lot of little open gaps and spaces and things that could happen. And I think a lot of it, like what we said, is we have a huge disconnect in human communication, and because everybody they don't know how to speak anymore. If it's not on text, they don't want to speak. People don't speak.
So how would you feel though, let's say, because another situation occurred, so, like, I've talked to a lot of females because I coach women's softball and then I coach co-ed, so I interact with them all the time. So one was telling me that she caught a friend of hers that's in a relationship sending selfies to a guy coworker of hers. So how would you, like, feel if a guy your boyfriend was sending selfies to girls all day?
That's cheating. That's like cheating.
Felipe, if your girlfriend was sending a guy that like selfies all day, not just one, like at the gym, you know what I'm saying, but just different filters over and over constantly.
It really comes down to, communication, because it's one of those sit downs like, all right, I don't know what your intentions were for this post or this picture, but let me hear this and convince me. Otherwise, the thoughts that are going through my head on why I think you sent that picture. Mm-hmm. And then it's like freaking people's court right going on.
Exhibit A.
And you never know, because you may be like, let's just say we're in a relationship and you send that picture to my homeboy. We may have to sit down and find out, like, are we having a communication problem?
Exactly.
Because maybe she's looking for attention and I'm not giving it to her. So she may have to be like, you know what? I'm sending them to your boys because you ain't looking at me. I get dressed. I do all this. Maybe somebody else, maybe one of your boys will look at me like, oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I've been occupied. Now that I know this, because it took for that to happen, and that may be your intentions. Like, she had to do that in order to get my attention.
But as a female, and let's say it was like that, and if I ever felt like I had to do that, then I would really have to look at myself and the relationship.
Right.
Why would I feel comfortable with that? Why am I searching out, attention from someone outside of my relationship? So maybe that relationship shouldn't be at all, because if everything discussed prior to you becoming a couple, you should have covered all this. what do you consider cheating? Is texting someone else cheating? Is emailing someone else cheating? If I send a picture, if I make out, if we sleep together, those are the things, because there's levels. There's some people that are totally okay with you flirting with everybody as long as you let them know. Or they're swingers or whatever. So you really have to, like, you have to communicate. You have to talk about what you have to define what your relationship is. For me and my fiance, when we decided we were together, or right before we made it official, neither one of us was talking to anyone else.
Yeah.
On the phone, on text, nothing. It was cut off. If someone texts me out of the blue now, hey babe, look, and I block them or I tell them, no, stop doing this. I'm in a relationship. Don't disrespect me and my relationship. And it should only happen one time. If someone continues that, to come at me or something like that, then it'll be like, hey babe, I know I can take care of it, but it'll be like, hey, this dude continues or whatever. But as a female, for me to be sending pictures to someone else, I know my fiance would consider that cheating because we talked about this.
Yeah.
He knows I would consider it cheating. So the break is in the communication when someone feels comfortable just doing that. Cause
there's guidelines on there because, like, my friend Maria, she's married. Like, me and her, we talk on Snapchat every day. We save our conversation, so if her husband ever wanted to, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of nonsense. You get what I'm saying? We're talking about softball, this,
but he's
this,
also
and that.
aware of it.
Yeah, he's also aware. He knows that she plays for me, and then he's been around both of us together, and like she's just cool people. She's from LA, and we just get along, kind of similar backgrounds in a way. So like you said, there's certain situations, but it's not like she's hiding it.
Right.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, we don't send selfies back and forth. Like you might get one
like
or two.
this.
Yeah, you might get one right now. Like me and you, hey, like you get what I'm saying? It might be somewhere like the chicken that was running away at church. This church's chicken. I was going to mass area. The chick. I'm gonna send you snaps of different stuff. Like if we're all here at the bar drinking, taking a shot. But it's like I said, there's certain things to where all of a sudden, even where it's back to me, where she's all of a sudden getting dolled up every day. Like, but we don't do that, and her husband trusts her, and like
Because
you're gonna have mutual friends together, and then friends of the opposite sex. So you go, it's like, but the intentions are like you just randomly meet some dude, and for 3 days now you're sending them selfies back and forth. It's like, like how do you even know that guy? Like Maria, I met her almost been a year. You know what I'm saying? We just hit it off. Like, but her husband knows. Like she plays there with us. Like, hey Joe too, if you watch this. But you know what I'm saying? It's nothing. They're like they'll be there together, chilling at the house and talking. Like you said, our conversations are there. It's a whole bunch of just back and forth about random nonsense, making fun of each other, other people that we like to roast.
All right, here we have a question for the show. What are your thoughts on bro soaking? And what that means is
what is the bro soaking?
Guys soaking it up in a hot tub.
Like a bunch of different dudes?
No, just a guy just wanting to take a bath.
A regular bath.
Just a regular bath.
Just a regular bath.
Regular bath. You're just soaking it up
Man,
in
they
your
ain't took a
bubbles.
bath with another guy from we were
Is
kids.
he your son?
Yeah, playing with G.I. Joes in the bathtub.
So it's almost like, hey guys, I'm gonna go home and just soak in the tub.
I'm like, hey, Felipe, why don't we go soak? No. What's funny is that, and I gotta tell a story with my cousin Louie. We always talk about here.
Gooey.
So we took a trip to Disney World in Florida as kids. That was the first time. I was probably about barely 5, I think. I can't remember what year it was. He's like 3 years older than me. So they said, all right, they put us in the bathtub together. That was the first time I've ever seen the fart in the bathtub with the bubbles. He's like, hey, watch this.
The hot tub?
He made it a hot tub. But nah, as far as that, like little kids doing it, but like there's a certain age after that. Like where you like, dude, like if we're at the pool, we're all in the hot tub.
Right.
Like it's after a softball game. It's like okay,
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like
You
yeah.
wouldn't go home and soak in the tub?
No, definitely not.
You don't put flower petals. and
Petals,
stuff.
no.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't picture myself doing that. I don't.
I make my fiance soak in the tub with me. Is that the same? And he doesn't last very long. He usually wants to get out.
Yeah, I would feel weird. Like, okay, I'm just soaking in the tub. I don't know. Maybe if it's for recovery purposes, maybe an ice bath.
Epsom salt.
Yeah, like I'm
Epsom
saying, if
salt.
we're like at the gym or something, I walk in, I see Felipe in there. Like, dude, I'm sore. Like, bro, I just played 12 games today. I need in here. It's kind of different, but they're at the house in the little mini hot tub or bathtub. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? Man, get out of there. That's something Baby D and Artie would do.
Next question. What are your thoughts on men shaving their legs?
You know, in the bodybuilding industry, it's like everyone shaves everything.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just got used to it.
Right.
I don't.
The first I saw it was in athletics in school.
Swimming usually.
Right.
The track people were shaving. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, bro, we're supposed to take off a 0.millimeter second. I'm like, okay, but
The hair stopped me from going fast.
and like we had a friend, we called him Gay Jeff. He wasn't gay, Jeff. So if you watch this, hey, what's up? But he was like the metrosexual type deal. He's like, he was real clean cut, and he pulled some real pretty women. He wasn't gay about them, but that was just him. And of course, he'd come around a bunch of cholos, we'd roasting. Like, dude, what? Gay Jeff, exactly his name.
Yeah.
But we wanted to go and get girls. Trust me, like, hold on. Let's go pick up Gay Jeff. Because the girls loved him.
Yeah, I think I kind of just got used to it.
See, I've trimmed them down, like, back in the day, too. Like, usually in softball, like, we don't really play in dirt no more. I don't really slide as much as used to. I'm not as fast as I used to be. But
Silky smooth.
yeah, but I wouldn't shave them. I'd get the clippers, you know what I'm saying? And shorten it. Because you ever had to put that gauze and the tape and all that? And like, my legs aren't, I've seen hairier legs, but it's still, if I do a slide, mine's tore up. And trust me, that hair is coming off. I'm not about to deal with all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm used to it just from being in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
Just guys shave all the time. When I first got out of the military and got a job as a personal trainer, and I saw like dudes shaving, like I was just freaking out. Like, this isn't what
That's not what you
That's
thought.
not
it
what
was
we
gonna
didn't
be.
do.
what guys are supposed to do. We're like
No.
straight Chewbacca out there, and people would brag about their hairiness, and then I see these guys straight shaving and putting lotion. I was like, what the? And then I started seeing girls like, hey, I like the guy with the muscle definition and everything. I was like,
Next thing you know, he's in his thongs, completely shaved at the pool party.
let me try shaving. And it just added another inch to me, so looks are deceiving.
Oh man!
So if you guys are interested in reaching Lucy about any kind of fitness questions, perhaps she could probably help, especially you women.
I'm focusing on mostly women now.
How can they get a hold of you?
You can find me at lucytrainer.com, Caba Fitness on Instagram, 469-531-9589 on the phone, text, or call. Usually text works best. If I don't have your number saved, I probably won't answer it. And Facebook, Lucy Caba or Caba Fitness.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming out,
It was
taking
fun.
time out of your day, and that pretty much sums up our show.
Yeah, I didn't mean to insult any women or men. This is my opinion.
Right. And just to let you
We
guys
just went
know.
over that the other show too, and everyone's titled to their own opinion. So if y'all don't agree with it,
You don't have to.
It is what it is. Well, I'm Felipe.
I'm
Lucy.
Buddha. Lucy right
And
here.
I'm Lucy.
We'll see you guys later.
If he could do it,
This isn't a movie.
he believed in himself. And you can too.
Oh man, you gonna put it on me like that?
You can do anything that you want. You can get singing lessons, get a better job, make more money. You could be even like rich. You could live in the White House someday. You could be president.
Me?
Do what you want to do.
You're
It's not
right.
about up. It's not up to other people.
It's true.
It's up to you.